The Sri Lankan economy grew by an exponential 8.3% last year. However, can the same be said for per capita income? Also, in the United Kingdom, Buckingham Palace gets a facelift, literally in view of the Queen's birthday. And from the world of Formula One, the Bahrain Grand Prix proceeds amid tight security and strong opposition. Bring you the facts, the figures, and 360-degree reports on the news that matters. This is Primetime News on MTV Sports. Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on MTV Sports. I'm Nadim Majid. Tonight on your Primetime News Bulletin, we have the very latest from the crash which occurred a few hours ago near the Islamabad International Airport in Pakistan. But first, we start off with a look at the news-making headlines here at home. A Spanish warship rescues a group of Sri Lankan fishermen from Somali pirates. President Mahinda Rajapaksa meets the visiting Indian opposition leader. The visiting Indian parliamentary delegation tours Hatton. The governor of the central bank rejects allegations that the calculation of per capita GDP is flawed. Moving on to local news, opposition leader of India's Lok Sabha, Sushma Swaraj, met President Mahinda Rajapaksa this morning. According to presidential spokesperson N. Bandula Jayasekara, President Mahinda Rajapaksa hosted the visiting parliamentarian for breakfast at the president's house. Jayasekara said the breakfast meeting took place following an invitation extended by the president. A group including India's High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Ashok K. Kantha, Sushma Swaraj's daughter, the Minister of External Affairs, Professor G.L. Pieris, and the President's Secretary were present at the meeting. Now, the visiting Indian parliamentary delegation, led by the leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, Sushma Swaraj, toured Hatton and Batticaloa today.
The Batticaloa District Vocational Training Campus, located in Bandaramulla, was declared open by the Indian parliamentary delegation this evening. Leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, Sushma Swaraj, unveiled a commemorative plaque. Minister of Economic Development, Basil Rajapaksa, was among those present. Speaking at the occasion, Sushma Swaraj said the government of India is carrying out such projects in Sri Lanka due to the close relations that exist between the two countries. She also expressed her gratitude to the government of Sri Lanka and the officials who are involved in implementing 52 such projects. Meanwhile, the Indian parliamentary delegation toured the Hatton area this morning. The parliamentary delegation, led by the leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, Sushma Swaraj, received a warm welcome at the Dharawala grounds in Dikkoya. A meeting was organized later on with the participation of Minister Basil Rajapaksa, Dallas Alahaperuma and Arumugam Thundaman.
Recently, under His Excellency, the President Mahinda Rajapaksa's Mahinda Chintana Mission, we were able to secure more than 300 odd employment for graduates. And also, if you take the Indian origin living here, we live like part and parcel with the majority community. And to a certain extent, from my late grandfather's time, we have been able to achieve and live in par with them to a certain extent. We would like to have the housing scheme which High Commissioner mentioned it that day, 4,000 housing scheme. And we would request you all not to stop with that 4,000. As we mentioned that day when we met you all, for us the main thing is the housing. If that is there, I think our people will be more settled and they will be able to participate with the other communities equally.
Our developmental interventions in your favor have been focused mainly in 4 areas: housing, education, healthcare and transportation. We see education and capacity building as key socio-economic enablers that will enable you to realize your aspirations to rise up to the socio-economic ladder. India's commitment to construct 50,000 houses in Sri Lanka were originally limited to the northern and eastern provinces. We decided to subsequently extend this to the upcountry areas by earmarking 4,000 housing units to address the acute housing needs of these state workers and enabling them to move out of line rooms to individual housing units. We hope to conclude the process of selection of implementing agencies in the coming months and start construction within this year.
I would like to say that these people are the only group in this country who have been described as of Indian origin in their birth certificates. It is an honor for these people and the country that an Indian parliamentary delegation is making this visit. We would like to note that the rewards of the government's development program in the country will be extended to the people living in the estate sector. We have received some assistance from the government of India in this regard. I would like to conclude my speech by saying that whether we receive aid or not, under the leadership of the President and Minister Thundaman, we will carry out these development work and we will seek your assistance in this endeavour.
A Spanish warship has freed 6 Sri Lankan fishermen who were being held captive by Somali pirates. The rescued fishermen were the crew of the trawler Nimesha Dua. They were captured along with their vessel about 6 months ago by Somali pirates.
The fishermen were rescued by the Spanish naval vessel Infanta Elena, 50 miles off the coast of Tanzania. The Spanish Navy said in addition to the 6 Sri Lankan fishermen, a further 7 persons suspected to be Somali pirates were found on board the vessel. The Spanish Navy had provided the group, including the Sri Lankan fishermen, with food and water. The Spanish Navy said that the Somali pirates had been using the captured Sri Lankan fishermen's vessel as a mothership to launch attacks on other vessels. The fishermen have been taken to Tunisia by the Spanish ships and from there they will be taken to Dar es Salaam. The closest foreign mission we have is in Nairobi, Kenya, and we are in contact with them to take charge of the fishermen. We have also spoken to the Ministry of External Affairs to arrange air tickets to bring the fishermen home. Accordingly, they will be brought back to Sri Lanka by air from Dar es Salaam. The Nimesha Dua multi-day fishing trawler set out to sea from the Negombo harbour on the 25th of September 2011. The vessel set out with the 6 fishermen to fish in international waters. Communications with the trawler broke down after about a month of regular contact. As there was no information on the whereabouts of the fishermen or the trawler, the families of the fishermen and the owner of the vessel had notified the relevant authorities, including the Presidential Secretariat. There was no information regarding the fishermen for the next 3 months. On the 31st of January, news first revealed what had taken place and also broadcast a telephone call received by the owner of the vessel from a Somali phone number.
If you want fishermen, tell this money.
Can we talk to the fishermen? Are they with you now?
No one shall know you.
The Somali pirates demanded a ransom of $6 million. While the families of the fishermen were in no position to pay this ransom, the Ministry of Fisheries said that the Sri Lankan government had no intention of paying any ransom to the Somali pirates. One of the fishermen spoke to News First this morning from aboard the Spanish warship. I'm still aboard the Spanish warship. Our boat is in tow. We were rescued by a Spanish warship. We were rescued by this warship and we spoke to our families yesterday. Our government did nothing for us. According to what we heard from our families yesterday, the government showed no consideration for us at all. The easiest thing to do is to scold the government and the ministry. We don't need to get scolded. We are taking measures to bring them back to Sri Lanka. I have been continuously telling fishermen not to go into other countries. Meanwhile, this afternoon, the fishermen made contact with their families.
The
skipper called us and informed that the military had rescued them and they are in good health. He said they were provided with food and medicine.
On a lighter note, we now take a look at the newspaper cartoon of the day, which we selected from among today's English newspapers.
Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Sajith Premadasa, says that Sarath Fonseca must be given an unconditional pardon.
Deputy Leader Sajith Premadasa and UNP parliamentarians Karu Jayasuriya and Sujeeva Senasinghe visited the Walikada prison today to inquire into the well-being of former Army Commander Sarath Fonseka. On the 26th, General Sarath Fonseka's prison term ends. There are 2 more cases pending. There may be investigations on these 2 cases. However, he has the right to apply for bail in these cases. We hope that instead of filing more cases against him through vengeance, he will be released on the 26th to live as a good citizen in society. And we hope that instead of the terrorist leaders who are living in luxury today, this army hero who dedicated his life for the country will receive that opportunity.
Ranasinghe Premadasa මැතිතුමා ඒ කරපු ඒ විශිෂ්ට ක්‍රියාදාමයන්
Like we appreciate the exceptional work of Ranasinghe Premadasa, no one can erase or forget the service rendered by Sarath Fonseka in the war. It cannot be swept aside. On the 1st of May, we will hold a memorial for Ranasinghe Premadasa with the blessings and patronage of Sarath Fonseka, and like no one can erase the memory of the actions of Ranasinghe Premadasa, I must remind you that no one can erase the memory of the service rendered by Sarath Fonseka.
කිසිම කෙනෙකුට අමතක කරන්නට බැරි කියන එක අමතක කරන්නට කැමතියි. එක්සත් ජාතීන්ගේ සංවිධානයට උත්තර දෙන්න ඕන.
If a response must be given to the United Nations, the best person to do this is Sarath Fonseka. He has said that no war crimes took place under his leadership. No one can make this statement other than him. Today the government is committing this crime in the interest of one family. All we are asking is, instead of accumulating more sins, release Sarath Fonseka and give freedom to the people.
තවදුරටත් පව් එකතු කරගන්න නැතුව සරත් ෆොන්සේකා මහත්තයා ඉක්මනම නිදහස් කළ මේ රටේ ජනතාවට ඒ නිදහස් ලබා දෙන්න කියන එකයි.
The laying of the foundation stone for the Sri Ranga Cultural Centre at the Hollyfont Estate in Nuwara took place recently. The foundation stone was laid by Nuwara District Parliamentarian and General Secretary of the Citizens Front, Jayashree Ranga.
The foundation stone for the Jayashree Ranga Cultural Centre at the Muthumariyamman Kovil at the Oliphant Estate in Nuwara was laid recently by Parliamentarian Jayashree Ranga's Private Secretary R. Sasikumar, who was warmly welcomed by area residents. You are aware that almost all upcountry politicians have never been in the opposition. These politicians say they wish to serve the people and join the government, but only serve themselves. They only look into the well-being of their families and secure the next generation as well. But nothing is done for the people. Our parliamentarian Jayashree Ranga has not charged a cent from you, but has provided solutions to your problems for 9 years through the Minnal program. He has visited your line rooms, understood your problems and spoken about them in parliament. He has made the world take note of these issues.
Still in news here at home, steps have been taken to organize the Sirasa Vesak zone this time around as well over a period of 4 days starting on Vesak full moon Poya day in line with the 2600th Sri Sambuddhatva Jayanti. A group of senior officials of the Sirasa Media Network visited Kandy today with the objective of obtaining the blessings of the chief prelates of the Askiri and Malwatu chapters in this regard.
A group of senior officials of the Sirasa Media Network first visited the chief prelate of the Askiri chapter, Most Venerable Udugama Sri Buddharakkhita Thera, and obtained his blessings. They then visited the Anunayak of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Niyangoda Sri Vijitha Thera. The group also met Chief Prelate of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuwave Sri Sumangala Thera. The Chief Prelate had commended the projects being organized by Sirasa for the upliftment of the Buddha Sasana and also conveyed his wishes to make the Sirasa Vesak zone a success.
I would
like to inform everyone who is watching Sirasa that the chief prelates of the Askiri and Malwatu chapters invoked their blessings and gave their permission for this endeavor. There is no doubt that this alone will create much enthusiasm amongst the Buddhist community. This has also given strength to the organizers.